Having an open door policy have its own
Yeah.
pros and cons, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and sometimes you try to plan, but there are a lot of changes going on, a lot of things going on, and
Yeah.
every person, especially nowadays, Daniel, regretfully, we're noticing that even from a social point of view,
Yeah.
even problems at home, there are a lot of problems without going into detail when it comes to education as well, because the biggest tool in the world, it's not the war, it's not the weapons, but for me the biggest tool is education. We're lacking into education. As a Maltese government, we have one of the biggest budget as far as I'm concerned when it comes to funds into our schools. Even in recent years, we saw children at a very young age, starting from childcare, everything it is being fully sponsored by the government. We have the primary schools, we have the lyceums, we have the MCAS, up to university. We are very lucky. We don't know this because if you go in another country,
Yes.
especially if you go to university, people go to do the part-time so that they can pay back the fees of the university. But here in Malta, we are so damn lucky,
It's free.
which is free up to university, and you can end up with a degree or a master's. But the pity is that we have a lot of school leavers. The pity is that I meet people, young people, they don't even know how to write. And I'm not joking. Maybe people are saying, wow, it could not be possible, we're in 2023. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people, they don't know how to write and even to read. They know how to speak and conversate in Maltese, but they have problems when they communicate in English. I mean, it's not a one or a two person, a lot of people. You have the white collar employees and you have the blue collar employees. There are even demographics, and sometimes even demographics give you certain impressions, but I don't want to go in that area. But personally, I think that here in Malta, we're making a lot of focus on the white collar employees. I mean, it's very good to have financial hubs, insurance hubs. We have a lot of gaming hubs nowadays, which is very, very good to our economy. It leaves a lot of money. It generates a lot of economy, which is very, very good, I would dare to repeat. But then again, there are a lot of other jobs which, unfortunately, we're lacking behind. Case in point, I mentioned that we have refrigeration technicians. I mean, if I quote the salaries which nowadays we provide to us, a technician,
Yeah.
it's almost over 35, 36, 38,000 euros,
Yes.
which is a pretty good salary.
It is.
Even you have people who into a white collar job, an accounts clerk, they
To
don't
arrive
get
at that
that type
yes,
of
yes.
salary, but I think that we have come by whereby we need to review our education system, and we need to put back on the agenda the blue collar jobs. Even when it comes to people who work in the construction area, we're still somewhat old generated mentality, but then again, when it comes to technicians, when it comes to air condition technicians, people who work a lot of jobs, even when it comes to technicalities.
Yes.
We need a lot of these type of people, but there is this type of mentality. You either do it, you get your A levels, your
Yes,
masters,
yeah.
your degree, which is very good, otherwise you failed,
Yes.
which is not fair.
There is some kind of
Which is
shame
not
about
fair.
it.
Exactly. I mean, we have a lot of sales people who don't have any A levels, but they are exceptional talented people. The way how they can break the ice with a new person they have never met in their own life, they can sell ice to the Iceman, that type of people.
Yeah.
So they have a lot to contribute. Being an HR person, I prefer to find the best profile, the best attributes into this type of people, and we try to fit them in that best job for them, because at the end of the day, we want to retain the people, and you're going to retain people by having these people fully engaged, and they feel part of the success story as well.
it's all about the attitudes and the cultural fit most of the time. So
Definitely.
when we're interviewing people, I would say that personally I will look out for the attitude the person has, that eagerness to learn and to contribute or to be part of something at the place of work, and the cultural fit.
Yes.
Aside of the qualifications are nice, obviously,
Yes.
because it gives you a certain type of perspective, I would say. However, even the extracurricular activities, whether you're involved in your community, those all play an important role in forming your identity, because education or academic growth is not the only part, part of growth or only aspect of growth. It's one out of many aspects. And sometimes if you have the right attitude towards work, that's all it counts, because when it comes to learning, you can learn anything if you really want to.
True.
So it's the attitude most of the time.
When I speak with my HR colleagues, something which we focus a lot, especially in the first interview, it's about 3 things: attitude, attitude, and attitude. The rest, it is important, but when we dig in, we try to understand the person in front of us. Why did you apply in the first place? Why Nectar? Why should I engage you? You know, these type of questions will help us a lot to better understand the person and see if he's a fit, not just for the job, but
for the company
because
as
of
well.
the culture of the company as well.
And there is a lot of weight in that decision as well. The person applying for the job might be looking for new opportunity, a higher pay rise, for example, a higher pay, not a higher pay rise, really. So the person might be blinded or not be fully aware of certain things, but the person sitting in front of the other person, which might be from HR most of the time, or the director or the general manager, they have to keep in mind that the person is leaving and a particular job, perhaps after a couple of years. They have 2 months or 3 months of notice if they have been long enough with the company. So they will have to wait for 3 months. And then there's the 6 months probation, up to a year if it's a professional role. And there's one year total of waiting and trying to make the person fit. So you have to make sure, you have the responsibility of making sure that the choice that is made is the right one. Because you would waste the company's time and the person's time as well, because everyone has a family at the end of the day. So if you just choose the person out on a whim or without thinking of the potential consequences, you might have to terminate the person on probation, which is very disheartening.
Exactly.
For the company and for the person.
True.
So interviews are very important, and it's nice to know that, or it's nice to have a frank conversation as why are you applying, what are your intentions, and having a frank conversation during an interview.
Sometimes could be make or break, because even when you look from a return of investment aspect, when it comes to recruitment, the moment that you make a false step and you recruit a person not because he's a fit, but because you cannot find a person, so I'm going to take this person, then we'll see what happens. That phase, then we'll see what happens. For me, it's already a problem, you know. So I would dare to say, maybe some managers don't understand it, even though nowadays they are fully on board. They prefer to wait. They prefer to keep waiting until the best person comes which can fit into that role. Because let's say we have a group of 30 delivery persons, and then you're going to bring someone, and then we'll see how it goes. That one person could be the issue, which unfortunately, thanks to him, you might lose another 2 or 3 good people. And when you lose a person, normally it's one of the best people, not one of the, I'm not going to use the word the worst people, but one of the best performers or 2 of the best performers will tell you, listen, Mark, we have this issue, I'm sorry, I cannot work in this type of conditions, so I would prefer to resign because I don't want any problems. Other people, maybe they're not the top performers, they will say, listen, I stick with this job, I will get my pay at the end of the day, so I'm good to go, I'm happy with this type of situation. So from an HR point of view, make it very clear, we put this responsibility on us, because the way we work here at Nectar is that once we receive the resume, we give the consensus to our line manager, to the respective line manager, so that he can be part of the screening phase as well. Then we do a short list, but the first round of interview specifically has to be done by an HR person, because attitude, and attitude. Why you want to join Nectar? We want to better understand what is your background, what are your intentions, how can Nectar help you to develop your skills, etc., etc. The moment that you are chosen for a second interview, then yes, the line manager will be brought in, because even in terms of technicalities whatsoever, the line manager is the best person. However, the champion of the interview process, the person who's chairing the interviews, has to remain an HR person.